practical demonstration of phone repairs. And today, to do that for us, will be two facilitators. On my left is Mr. Wadolu, and on my right is Mr. Absalom. So I want everybody to be focused on. My name is Ojen Diemo. I'm the coordinator for phone repairs. Today we'll be going through the practical demonstration of mobile phone repairs. And to do that for us today will be two facilitators. On my right is Mr. Awadudu, and on my left is Mr. Mustafa. So I want everybody to be focused and to follow everything we are doing bit by bit. So over to you, sir.
Thank you. We are starting phone repair practical class, and we all know that for a good phone technician, at least we have to know what is all about mobile phone. Mobile phone can be divided into two major parts. The first one is hardware, while the second one is software. What do we mean by hardware? Hardware is a kind of, we can say hardware, we can define hardware as a component that we can see and touch. Like, let's say before we can say a phone is having a hardware problem, it means that maybe a component or is having a hardware problem. It means that the phone is faulty, whether the screen or mouthpiece and some other faults like that. Let's start with hardware. For every phone technician, before you can be a competent phone technician, you need to know the tools that is needed for a phone repair. Now, on my table here, we have many tools here. The first one is the workstation. This one is soldering iron. This is soldering iron. This one is digital multimeter. While this one is separating machine. This one is DC supply. This one is Moco Spirit, which we can use to wash a phone panel. And this is lamp. This is lamp. This is lamp, as you can see. This is panel holder, or we call it PCB holder. So we also have soldering paste here. This is phone opener. This is picker, which is the common name, and the real name is tweezer, but people call it picker. Now, the tools are categorized in different sections. We have opening tools. What are the opening tools? When I say opening tools, there are some tools needed whenever we want to open a mobile phone. Now, let's start with screwdriver. This is set of tools. This is screwdriver. We can use this screwdriver to unscrew a mobile phone. And we also have flat bit screwdriver and some other ones like that. Now, it depends on the type of phone that you want to repair. This will determine the kind of screwdriver that you are going to use. Let's say you want to unscrew a features phone. Let's say this small Techno phone now. You want to unscrew this small Techno phone. You need star screwdriver. So that is that. And the next one is opener. For you to unscrew, after unscrew a phone, let's say we unscrew this phone now. We unscrew the phone. So after unscrew the phone with your screwdriver, you need opener to open the phone. So this is how we are going to open it. So that is the function of opener. So that is the function of opener, and this is the opener. The next one is tweezer. The common name for tweezer, which people call it, is picker. So this is picker. We use picker to remove components on a PCB. When I say PCB, PCB means printed circuit board. It's also called a phone panel. So whenever you are using the workstation, to remove either charging port or battery connector or any phone component, you can make use of this picker to hold or to lift the component. All these are under opening tools. The next one is testing and checking tools. Under testing and checking tools, we have multimeter. We all know that we have two types of multimeter. We have analog multimeter and digital multimeter. In this class, we are using digital multimeter. Now, the function of multimeter is to read a component on a phone panel. Now, let's say you want to, maybe a phone mouthpiece or speaker. A customer comes to you and he told you that, okay, this phone, the mouthpiece is not working. The first thing to do is to bring out the mouthpiece and use your multimeter to test the mouthpiece. So, but on this multimeter, we make use of three areas. The first one is continuity range, which we bring out sound. This is the sound of continuity range. Now, we use continuity range to test mouthpiece, to test speaker, and some other phone components. We can also use it to test IC. The full meaning of IC is integrated circuit. Now, the next one is DC footage. We make use of DC footage to read a phone battery. We know that for every battery to on a mobile phone, the reading must be up to 3.7 voltage. Now, the next one is AC, which is alternate current. We only use that one to check the current on a socket, not on a phone. Now, we have a symbol that denotes each of these area that I mentioned on the multimeter. Now, this is continuity. This is continuity range, and this is the diagram, and this one is DC, and this one is AC. Those are the three areas that we need a mobile phone repair. That is that on testing and checking tools. The next one is cleaning and servicing tools. Under cleaning and servicing tools, we have IPA, which is isopropyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol is the best cleaning for mobile phone panel. But in the absence of that, we can make use of Moco spirit. So we need it just to wash a mobile phone panel when there is need. The next one is brush. We also use brush to wash a phone panel. Whenever we are using spirit, we need brush. The next one is all this is under cleaning and servicing tools. Now, the next one is soldering and desoldering tools. Under soldering and desoldering tools, we have rework station. And this is rework station. We use rework station to solder and desolder a phone component. Whenever we want to work on IC or you want to remove a mobile phone charging port or battery connector, we need a workstation. But it is not advisable when we use the workstation to remove a battery connector. Well, it's not advisable to use the workstation to fix it back because it will melt the plastic. Now, the workstation also, We can use it to heat a phone panel. After using spirit and brush to brush the phone, we can use it to heat the panel so that it will dry. But most important thing is that whenever we are working on IC, either we are removing IC or we are fixing IC, we need the workstation. The next one is soldering iron. We use soldering iron to fix and remove IC. We can also use it to solder speaker, to solder screen, and so on. The next one is soldering floors. We make use of soldering floors purposely because to have a good look when we are removing IC or any component on a phone PCB. Followed by soldering lead. Soldering lead is also useful whenever we are using soldering iron to solder or to remove IC or component. We need soldering lead, and this is soldering lead. The next one is jumper wire. We use jumper wire to connect a broken track on a mobile phone PCB. We use it to connect a broken track on printed circuit board. We can also use it to make some jumper from one area to another. The next one is miscellaneous tools. Under miscellaneous tools, we have nose plier. This is nose plier. We can use it to remove a covered plate on the PCB. You can use it to remove a covered plate on the PCB. So that is the function of plier. I'm still under miscellaneous tools. PCB holder. PCB holder. We make use of PCB holder anytime we are making use of the workstation or soldering iron. Instead of telling your boy or someone to just please help me to hold this thing, you can make use of PCB holder and do whatever you want to do. The next one is lamp. This is lamp. We use lamp to illuminate the repair place. We use lamp to illuminate the repair place so that we can see clearly. The next one is DC supply. This is DC supply. It's also known as battery charger. We can use DC supply in the absence of battery. Maybe there is a phone that we want to work on and we don't have the phone battery. So we can make use of DC supply to power on the phone. We can also use it to charge or boost a phone battery. That is that on tools. The next one is fault in mobile phone. Let's just go through some faults, some common faults in mobile phone. 1. Mouthpiece fault. Mouthpiece fault. 2. Speaker fault or buzzer fault. 3. Charging port. 4. Screen fault. 5. Power fault on a mobile phone. Now, let's start with mouthpiece fault. Before you can know whether the mouthpiece is good or not, to start with the solution to mobile phone fault, which we have listed in the first week. The first one is mouthpiece fault. Now, my oga here will show you how the mouthpiece look like. This is called universal mouthpiece. It is common in most of all these features phone, all those small phone, like this one is using universal mouthpiece. This one is using universal mouthpiece. This one is very common in all these small phones. So this is the mouthpiece. The reading of mouthpiece. Whenever you are reading a phone mouthpiece, this universal mouthpiece, you change your multimeter into continuity range, which is this logo, continuity range. Then you take your probe, the positive probe, you connect it with negative probe on the mouthpiece, and you place the other one. It will give you reading if the mouthpiece is good. Like this mouthpiece now is giving us 1008 something. For you to know that the mouthpiece is okay, so it will give you a reading. Why? If you did not change the probe of the multimeter, let's say you use negative to negative, multimeter negative to negative of mouthpiece, and multimeter positive to positive of mouthpiece, it will not give you any reading. So you have to change the probe.
Negative to negative, positive to positive.
It will not give you any reading. So for you to have a good reading, you need to change positive of multimeter to negative of mouthpiece and negative of multimeter to positive of mouthpiece. Now, we all know that when the phone mouthpiece is not working well, they will not hear you clearly. Maybe when you are calling, they will not hear you clearly. Secondly, they will not hear you at all. So it means that the mouthpiece is not working. How do we treat that? When you take your phone we all know that this is how we use a mobile phone to make call, and this is mouthpiece area, because we talk to this side. You don't need to stress yourself. After using your tools, which is screwdriver, to unscrew the phone, you use this to remove the cracker. Then you now go to the mouthpiece. This is the mouthpiece. So you remove the mouthpiece, you put another one. But at times, when you change the mouthpiece and the phone did not work, the next thing to do is to read the mouthpiece interface on a phone panel. Is to read the mouthpiece interface on a phone panel. The mouthpiece interface has two legs, which is positive and negative. This is how to read the mouthpiece interface.
I will add the positive of the meter probe now to the edge, then using the negative to test this place. It gives us reading. The other one too give us reading.
It means that the mouthpiece interface is good. Now, when you change the mouthpiece, you read the phone did not work. You read the interface, the phone did not work. The next thing to do is to check the mouthpiece IC. The next thing to do is to check the mouthpiece IC. How do we check the mouthpiece IC?
The mouthpiece IC is beside the interface of the...
The mouthpiece IC is very close to the interface,
Sometimes
to the mouthpiece interface.
Sometimes they put it under this two, or sometimes inside the box. So
What my oga was explaining is that at times they put mouthpiece IC beside the interface, which is the terminal, the positive and the negative, and most of the time they put it at the back of the interface. That is that on how to treat a phone with mouthpiece problem. The next one is speaker problem, which is also known as buzzer. Now, speaker has its own reading. When you unscrew a phone and when the speaker, for you to know whether the speaker is the problem or not, the first thing to do when a customer complains to you that my phone does not ring out, the first thing to do is to go to settings. You check the phone settings, whether the settings is okay. When you check the settings and the settings is okay, the next thing to do, you unscrew the phone. As we did before, you unscrew the phone. When you unscrew the phone, you bring out the speaker, like this phone now. We all know that speaker is either around ear or ear. There are some phones that use earpiece and speaker, and there are some that use only speaker, which perform the two job. Now, this is speaker for this phone. Is using only speaker, only one speaker. This speaker is working for earpiece and it also serves as speaker. What did I mean by speaker? When they called you and your phone ring out, whether the phone play music or other ringtone, so it means that your phone speaker is working. So the speaker has its own reading.
This one is good. And the resistance supposed to be from either 7 to 9. When we put the meter to
Continuity range.
Now, this one, you can put negative prod to negative or you put it to positive. But if the speaker is okay, now when you put any of the prod to any of the wire, it will read. It will read from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It means that when it shows from 7 to 12, it means that the speaker is good.
Even though if we change the meter prod, you put negative to positive and you put positive to negative, it will
still remain the same.
So it will read.
Now, when a speaker is not good,
when the speaker is not good, it won't read at all. Like this one. That means this one is not good. Even when you change the prod, it won't read. The same thing with this one too. It's not good.
So it doesn't bring out any reading. It means that the speaker is not good. For us to test our phone, for us to test a phone speaker, we need to tune our multimeter into continuity range. Now, we test the speaker is good. We solder it back, the phone speaker did not work. The next thing to do is to check the speaker interface. The speaker interface can be positive, it always be positive and negative.
Now,
This is the reading.
The interface now. I will add the positive prod of the meter, then use the negative prod of the meter to come and test the two interfaces. One, it will read. The other one too will read.
So when the two legs, both the positive and the negative, give us reading, it means that there is no problem with the interface. The interface is good. But in a situation whereby the interface is not reading, we have to go and check the speaker IC, like we did in mouthpiece IC. The next one is charging port. The next one is charging port. We all know that common charging port in those days is tiny charging port, which is it has just two legs, which is positive and negative on the phone interface. So, but these days, the common charging port is this. This is the common charging port. It has 5 legs. It has 5 legs. Now, when you want to repair a phone charging port, either Android phone or features phone, which is small phone, all these small phones, they are using this charging port. It has 5 legs. The first leg here is positive, while this one is negative. Beside the negative leg, we have neutral, and the other two is for USB transfer. So now, what I'm saying is that the first leg and the last leg is for charging. The first leg and the last leg is for charging, while the leg that follow negative leg is neutral, while the other two that close to positive is USB data transfer. When you connect your phone with a laptop and maybe you want to transfer something from your phone to laptop, or you want to collect